He spent 30 years hunting the most dangerous Soviet assassin in history. 30 years. And in all that time, he never caught him. But here's the part nobody saw coming. The reason he never caught him was because every morning he looked in the mirror and saw him staring right back. This is the story of a man who was two people at the same time, and the rookie agent who had no idea he was partnering with the very monster he was trying to stop. Stay with me, because this one will mess with your head. Washington, D.C. A United States Senator walks out of a building late at night. He never makes it to his car. Someone steps out of the shadows, slits his throat with surgical precision, and disappears into the darkness before anyone even knows what happened. No witnesses. No DNA. No footage. But the FBI agents who arrive at the scene notice something chilling the way the kill was executed. The angle. The technique. The total absence of panic or hesitation. This wasn't a random attack. This was the signature of Cassius. Now, Cassius is not just any name in the intelligence world. Cassius is a ghost. A Soviet assassin so skilled, so careful, so methodical, that for decades, nobody even knew if he was real or just a story the CIA told itself to explain the unexplainable. But the CIA believed he was very, very real, and one man had dedicated his entire career to proving it. His name is Paul Shepardson, former CIA operative, decorated, brilliant, retired. Paul spent the better part of 3 decades tracking Cassius across Europe, Asia, and the former Soviet states. He came close a few times, but Cassius always slipped away. Eventually, the CIA decided the threat had passed. Cassius was probably dead. Paul was thanked for his service and shown the door. And Paul? He accepted it, quietly moved on, tried to forget. But now, with this fresh murder carrying Cassius's unmistakable fingerprints, the CIA comes knocking again. They need him back, and more importantly, they need him to work with someone new. Enter Ben Geary. Ben is young, eager, an FBI analyst who has written papers, built profiles, and practically dedicated his academic career to studying Cassius. He knows the files better than anyone alive. There's just one problem. He's never been in the field. Not really. Not like this. Paul looks at Ben and sees exactly what he is, a smart kid with books full of theory and zero survival instinct. But orders are orders. Together, they're supposed to find Cassius, stop him, end this once and for all. Simple enough, right? Not even close. The two men couldn't be more different. Paul moves slow, deliberate. He speaks carefully and watches everything, every exit in every room, every person at every table. Old habits from a life spent in the shadows. Ben moves fast. He's excited. He thinks this is his chance to prove himself, to turn all those academic theories into something real. As they dig into the senator's murder, they pull on threads that keep leading back to the same place, a network of Russian operatives still active on American soil, decades after the Cold War supposedly ended. One name keeps surfacing. A man called Brutus, a Russian enforcer connected to old Soviet intelligence networks. If Cassius is active again, Brutus would know. They track him down. And here is where Paul starts to change. Subtly, almost imperceptibly. He takes risks Ben doesn't understand. He makes decisions that seem to go against protocol. He pushes into places no cautious veteran would go. Ben notices, but he tells himself Paul just has experience he doesn't understand yet. He should have trusted that feeling. As the investigation deepens, Ben starts finding inconsistencies, details in Paul's old case files that don't add up. Moments where the timeline of Cassius's movements overlaps suspiciously with Paul's own documented locations. He brings it up carefully. Paul deflects. changes the subject, gives just enough of a reasonable answer to make Ben feel paranoid for asking. But the seed is planted. Meanwhile, more people start dying. Each murder clean, each murder precise, each murder bearing that same cold, unmistakable signature. Cassius is not hiding anymore. He's sending a message. And Paul, rather than seeming alarmed, seems almost calm, like a man who already knows where this is going because he's the one steering it. Ben can't shake the feeling that his partner knows more than he's letting on. Not just more, something deeper, something personal. He starts digging into Paul's past, not the official CIA record, the real record, the parts that were buried. And what he finds stops him cold. But Ben now knows. And Paul knows that Ben knows. The careful dance they've been performing collapses in an instant. Ben is not a field agent. He has a wife, a family, a life built around analysis, not survival. He is completely outmatched against a man who has been killing professionally for 30 years. But Ben is smart and desperate, and sometimes that's enough. The final act is a high-stakes chase through a city where nobody can be trusted because Paul has connections everywhere. CIA, former Soviet networks, private operatives. Ben is trying to stay alive long enough to expose the truth. Paul is trying to contain a leak that could unravel everything he has built over a lifetime. Every scene in the final stretch is soaked in paranoia. Who's watching, who's listening, who's already been turned? The answer, it turns out, is almost everyone. Without giving away every beat of the finale, because honestly, you should watch this one. Here's what you need to know. The truth does come out, but the way it comes out, and the cost of it coming out, hits harder than you expect. Paul is not a cartoon villain. That's what makes this film interesting when it works. He's a man who became something monstrous so gradually, so logically, each step making sense from inside his own logic that he probably stopped questioning it decades ago. The final confrontation between Paul and Ben is less about action and more about two men who, in a twisted way, needed each other to reach this moment. One to expose, one to finally be seen. Whether that counts as justice or just an ending is something the film leaves deliberately open. So, The Double, 2012. Richard Gere, Topher Grace, Martin Sheen. A Cold War spy thriller built around one of the cleanest twists in the genre. The hunter and the hunted are the same man. Is it a perfect film? No. Some of the pacing drags in the middle, and the supporting cast doesn't always get enough to do. But that central idea, the 30-year lie at the heart of the CIA itself, that's the kind of concept that sticks with you. If you liked this recap, hit subscribe because we do this every week. New movie, new story, same promise. We get you through the whole thing in under 15 minutes. No fluff, no filler. And if you've already seen The Double, drop a comment. Did you see the twist coming? Or did it get you? See you in the next one.